Hey everybody, welcome to this video. So today what I want to go through is how to cut off 2 to 3 years in getting your ecom brand to 7 figures a year. So I'm going to be sharing some lessons that we've learned from running our own ecom business, which we started from our kitchen bench. Now that we're actually at that stage, my brother and I actually help other ecom brands scale their businesses using our 7-figure ecom blueprint. So if you're serious about scaling your business and you want to get to that 7-figure a year mark, book an appointment below using the link, join our Facebook group, watch all these videos, get acquainted, and we'll see how we can help you. So today we've been getting a lot of questions about, how to scale and what's the best way to do it and what's the best technique. And the really short answer is, it's specific to your business and your market. But what we've boiled down are a few principles, 3 principles, in fact, that I want to go through today that can really help you cut off that time. And a lot of it comes down to your processes, your thought processes, and your decision-making techniques. We found when starting our ecom brand that, we jumped straight into the business world that we didn't know a whole lot about. It was one thing to know your product and your customers, but the actual business side of things took us a long time to sort of figure out. We often said that, it was like doing an MBA, a master's of business in, the first 12 months of being in business, which is how much you sort of learn. That's the best experience you can get, is real life. But there were so many things that we just didn't know and we still don't know and continue to learn. And so that's my hope, I guess, with this channel, is to be able to share with you as much information and insight as possible so that you can adapt that to your own business. And so there's been so many things that we've learned along the way. And so before I really sort of jump into the 3 things, the 3 principles that we've adopted, I really just want to, say that you need to understand your business really intimately. It's one thing to look in Facebook groups, look on YouTube channels, look at certain things to get information that can help you. And there are certain incremental things that you can adopt and learn, but you really need to, adopt that to your own specific business. There are some things that are going to work for others that won't work for you, and vice versa. So finding these things as quickly as possible and latching on and utilizing them is the best thing that you can actually do. So take that, with these 3 principles. So with that, let's really jump into it. So number 1 is spend money on things that matter and hold back on things that don't, right? We see a lot of business owners who have a pool of cash that they've either invested or gotten from, sales or investors or something along those lines, where they blow their cash on certain things that, of course, initially they feel like they're going to make some money off. But if they had have thought about it, twice or 3 times and actually reviewed it and were a little bit more stringent with where they were spending their money, they could have got a better return elsewhere. And so where we relate this to ourselves is with investing in machinery and investing in marketing and investing in, staff and efficiencies, for example. So we use a rule around buying machinery and upsizing premises that it's a 10x rule. We need to get 10x return off of this specific machinery or staff member or premises to be able to actually invest in it. So what I would say is, put as much money as you can into these things that are actually going to directly grow your business, and be 10 times more stringent on things that actually aren't. For example, do you need business cards? Do you need like that widget on your website? Do you need these things that are going to cost you money and distract you from the actual one thing that you're supposed to do, which is drive sales? Or is it essentially, could that money be used elsewhere? So one thing we've really learned around our cash flow and being successful in our business to get to that 500K a month is being super focused on where your money and your resources go. That's what's going to allow you to be choosy, because we can't do everything. We need to choose where we allocate our time and our money, and that will drive the needle forwards. So focus on things that are directly going to drive your sales. This is in a time and money capacity. But when we talk about cash conservation, then this is super, super important for you to understand. Don't just flippantly pay an agency $1,500 a month. Don't just flippantly pay Facebook $2,000 a month if you haven't proven your concept. It's not going to save your business. You're going to basically flush it down the toilet. Okay, so cash conservation, spending money on things that matter and holding back on things that don't, right? That's number 1. Number two, everything and everyone is an opportunity. So this is what we learned early on. By becoming, I guess, like, I don't want to say yes people, we say yes and no to certain things, but becoming a yes person to certain things that could have some potential, there's always an opportunity waiting around the corner. I'll relate this to back when we really started. So we were looking to get our brand out there. We were doing some soft social media stuff. We were obviously networking within our communities and building our brand. And we would say yes to almost everything that involved call it a community event. So it might be the launch of a cafe. It might be, not necessarily farmers markets, but that kind of thing where there was going to be people within our realm of influence. So it could be like health related that we could build a relationship with. And so we didn't necessarily in the beginning go there with the idea of we're going to get something out of this, we're going to try and get as much out of it as possible. But it just so happens upon reflection that every time we did one of these things, we went to a gym launch, we went to somewhere else, we met at least one person, whether it's a customer or whether it was a influencer or whether it was a business owner that could help us somewhere down the line. That happened basically every single time. And so when the principle becomes be a yes person, it's especially in the beginning, activity is going to breed that activity and opportunities will seem to come out of nowhere, but you can trace it back to that specific thing that you acted upon. And so that became really, really valuable to us and the longevity of our business. And the amount of times that we can say we've reconnected with somebody that sparked a really big opportunity, 3, 4, 5 years on in our business that we met way back when is basically, you can't even count on one hand. Like it's happened that many times. And so what you also find is that by networking with other people within your, even within business generally, especially e-com, people are so willing to help you out. You find out something that you didn't know. You utilize an opportunity that you didn't know about. So building real relationships and real networks through these kinds of things and saying yes to opportunities leads to one thing. One of the biggest things that we can, I guess, relate this to is finding out what we didn't want to do as much as what we did. And so when we began, we always had the idea of doing juice cleanses, but we thought, well, look, why don't we just go into cafes, sell our juices individually and try and, get the brand out there, but also generate some sales and some contracts that way. By saying yes to these opportunities, we did absolutely everything we had to do. We would get up early, like 3 a.m, juice for the cafe, take it to them at 6 a.m. and pop it in their fridge for them, do absolutely everything from start to finish. That's what it took. But it was through that process, of doing this for 2 to 3 months that we realized it's not profitable, it's not worth our while. The juice goes off after 2 days and, there's a lot of wastage. So we have to just purely focus on the cleanse packs. So by saying yes to an opportunity to stock cafes, it gave us the ability to make a clear decision and a decisive one to stay away from the retail aspect or the wholesale to retail and purely focus on cleanse packs. So suddenly we weren't just selling $8 juices with a $4 margin. We were selling $99 cleanse packs with a $50 margin, right? And so being a yes person, particularly in the beginning, get the wheels turning, get the activity going. There's only room for building more activity and finding your path that you're actually supposed to be on. You've got this ideal path of where you are and where you want to get to, but it's going to look a lot like this and it's going to skew off here and you'll eventually get there, but it's not as linear as what you might think. So number 2, everything and everyone is an opportunity. Become a yes person to opportunities. The third thing, learn from others. Honestly, we've had mentors from the very, very, very beginning all the way through, and we still have mentors to this day. It really clearly carves a path for you and creates clarity around what you need to be doing and what you need to be focusing on. We had mentors who were in hospitality, in the cafe space. We had mentors who had done e-com themselves, and this is what we should do. We had mentors who advised us with marketing. And so there's nothing that, I guess, can't be solved with the support of somebody who has actually been there before. It's so easy to feel like, your world is in a vacuum, that you're the only person going through this. But the fact is that that's not true at all. Your problems have been solved before. If it's traffic to your website, if it's conversions, if it's product, if it's logistics, if it's suppliers, if it's production, somebody has been through that variation of the problem and can help you solve it. And so we've seen this with one of our clients. They do apparel, and they essentially were doing 75K a month in organic sales. So their line of sales were purely Instagram. The relationship and the community that they had built organically over the years was so impressive, exceptional. And so when we started working with them, they were hitting about 75 grand a month. So as soon as we came in, we said, look, how can we utilize other things? Keep doing what you're doing, but how can we pour fuel on the fire and explode your sales even more? And so we obviously identified, the opportunity with paid marketing. So we adopted a Facebook and Instagram strategy, some Google stuff, and we were able to boost them to basically 200K a month within a few months, because we saw the opportunity from our experience about how they could utilize more of what they're currently doing. Now, that was what they hit maximally. And then basically, instead of dropping down to, 75K, which what they were used to, their new benchmark is basically 120 to 130K. And it kind of varies and bubbles up and down until the new standard is hit. And then that new baseline will be increased even further. And so they've obviously been super happy with their organic side, which they're just continuing to do. And then on the side, working on their paid. But, if they didn't speak to somebody like us, they wouldn't understand or have the, foresight and the strategy behind how to roll that out, and would be still doing their 75K a month, which again is no, mean feat. And so we see this all the time, where it's the ability to spot opportunities that you need somebody to help you with. You're so in the weeds of what your business is actually doing that it's somebody having a 10,000 foot view can help you understand and spot those opportunities. And so, look, I hope that really helps. What we have done is, basically compile 10 years of experience. We've been able to dissect some really key decisions about what has helped us be successful. We're just willing to pass that on to anybody who's willing to listen. We really get our joy from seeing others succeed now. And so that's it. Basically, that's it. Cut 2 to 3 years off, getting to that 7-figure mark for your e-com business by spending money on things that matter and holding back on things that don't, things that directly relate to sales. Number 2, everything and everyone is an opportunity for growth, for development. And number 3 is learning from others. We had mentors, we still do. If somebody has a roadmap and a proven system for you to be able to achieve your goals quicker, that's the fastest way to cut 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years off getting to 7 figures for your e-commerce business. So look, hope that helps. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.